Following Celtic, it's never dull, is it? An emotional rollercoaster of an evening. We've come away with the 3 points against Ross County. I don't quite know how we've managed it. It'll probably take me a wee while to work out how we managed it. Everything seemed to be conspiring against us in that second half. Daft refereeing decisions, Celtic players getting sent off, well, a Celtic player getting sent off, missed opportunities, just not playing that well. Lack of options due to injuries and rotating the team. And yet, Stevie, we found a way to win.
We did. Absolutely amazing. I was so buzzing. I did not see that coming at all, Hamish. Honestly, credit to the manager, credit the team for managing us to get out that. Can't even say my words properly here. I've not celebrated a goal like that in such a long time. Huge goal. Psychologically, that is absolutely massive for us, and the team just deserve credit. We did say, Hamish, it didn't matter how they got the win, they just had to get the 3 points, and they've managed it. It was a bare minimum, and thank God, because I just did not look lightly tonight for a long portions of that game.
It's been a long time since we scored a last minute winner. Off the top of your head, can you think of when it would be, like a meaningful one?
Rogic against Motherwell 4-3 game really is the first one that comes to my head.
Proper late stoppage time.
Mcham Lazio as well. I guess
anyone watching this with any kind of domestic examples in the last couple of years? Because I can't think of any.
Scott Brown Hamilton, I would say, was a big one.
Right, okay. It reminded me of Neil Lennon's kind of first time round, and all those late goals, Tannadice, I think St Mirren, Gary Hooper, etc. It reminded me of that kind of goal tonight. But the hero of the evening, he's been doubted, flung in tonight at the last minute. We're not chatting about Anthony Ralston, Stevie. You ruined my joke there. We are chatting, of course, about that wonderful body warmer. It's already getting lots of love in the chat. Just explain the story.
All right, well, I did say on Gig Pod on Sunday with Rizzo that, do you know what? I actually got the body warmer because of Anthony Ralston as well. I saw him wearing it against
So it's
Dundee
all linked.
It is. It's a wonderful romantic story here. And, Ralston wore it against Dundee in the 4-2 win, and it just stood out to me, and he was wearing it with a hoodie, and I thought, I think that would look good on me as well. So I thought, I'm going to buy that, and I did buy it. And then I wore it to one of the games, and I thought, since we played well and we got through it, I think it was maybe the Aberdeen one, and I said, I'm going to wear this all the time through the month of December, and hopefully we don't drop points. And we have not dropped points since I wore this. We even beat Betis with it as well. So the body warmer, thank you.
A riveting story, mate. I'm surprised hundreds of people haven't turned off. If you're still with us, thanks very much. A few contenders for the late goal. Cup final, Rogic obviously against Aberdeen. Rogic against Livingston is probably the answer that we're looking for. It wasn't for a Celtic win, but it was for a 2-2 draw just before this whole COVID thing kicked off. So that might be the correct answer. Some people saying, Bruni against Hamilton, Bruni against Kilmarnock, that's going further back. Samaras against Aberdeen was a good shot. I think it was a 4-3 game, but that was the overhead kick. That was many moons ago. Do we go back to the start of the night now, Stephen, just work our way up to that amazing moment? I feel like I just want to spend the next 20 minutes chatting about like that winning goal, because that's a moment that's going to live with me for a long time. But let's go back to the start of the evening and work our way along. Surprised when you saw that starting lineup tonight, that he'd rotated it a bit. Scales came in, Montgomery came in.
I think the biggest surprise for me, Hamish, was no Rogic. I'm always a firm believer in play your strongest teams at all times. I mean, especially now, we can't afford to have our best players, on the bench and all that. Rogic has been in brilliant form for us, and I think that's the game tonight. If he starts, it's maybe different, because I thought Abada was doing very well through the middle in the first half, and he looked as if he was, just a few more through balls and they got on the end of, and could have really punished them. We could have put the game out of sight in the first half. And I think if Rogic started, and you know what he's like for threading balls through to Kyogo and players who've got the pace to get away from defenders, that's maybe a different game. But yeah, I was surprised to see Rogic on the bench after how he started. But I think it was all rumoured, wasn't it, that even JJ was going to be right wing and Montgomery was going to be on left wing and all that. I think generally the team that a lot of people predicted. That's what we saw tonight. But yeah, I was very, very surprised that we didn't see Rogic starting, and also as well, Scales at left back. I was surprised with that. I thought we were going to see, Greg Taylor kicking on like it has, but I thought good first half for Scales. Concerns in the second, but as well, it's a tough game to get thrown into as well, isn't it? When he's not got the supporting players around him that he probably would be used to at Celtic.
Do you think Ange just had an eye on Sunday? I mean, do you think if we were playing St Mirren at home in the league at the weekend, he would have changed it as much tonight?
Hard to say. I think Sunday obviously is a big one, but I don't see Ange as the type of manager as well that puts a lot of focuses too much on the games ahead. He knows how important tonight was and how big this run is for us. So, but he always did say that he's got a duty of care and a duty of responsibility to make sure players are looked after and fit and fresh as possible. So I think that's obviously come into his thinking tonight as well. But I'd be really surprised if he was thinking too far ahead over the cup final, because tonight in a way was one for us. I mean, drop points in that and it's away, as somebody would say.
It nearly went away tonight, but it didn't, thankfully. I thought we started the game quite slowly, actually, quite sloppy. We couldn't string a pass together. I think it was the 8th minute before we properly put a move together. County really started with intent to press us, fair play to them. You always knew they would kind of tire it at some stage, and we would get that control that Ange so craves. And I think that we did find that control probably from about 10-15 minutes into the game all the way until half time. I felt that was a game that we were really in control of, and the frustrating thing in the first half was that our final ball wasn't on point. The amount of times Juranovic got in, 3 or 4 times he got into a great position on the the wide right, and it was an overhit pass. Every time it was overhit. And I think, the commentator that was on the Ross County pay-per-view commented on the fact that Ange was really frustrated about this. We didn't actually see Ange, but it sounded like he was, really frustrated with our final ball. McGregor even had one. Callum McGregor, a player you would always expect to do the right thing, had one late on in the first half where he could have cut it back to players at the edge of the box, and for some reason he tried to kind of fizz it into the back post, and again it was overhit. That was my big frustration in the first half, was that we didn't find the better final ball, with the exception being the goal. Liam Scales, just brilliant play. The kind of play, when I saw that goal, Joe Ledley just popped into my mind, that kind of galloping through the midfield, breaking the lines, and then with the left foot just cutting it across. And obviously Abada, with the striker instinct, puts it into the back of the net. That was the one real bit of quality in the first half.
It was funny you say Joe Ledley there, because it was very KT for me, the amount of times you saw him. Just breaking the lines and finding the perfect cutback as well with Tierney. It was never hitting Hope. He always had the head up, picking out a man, and that's what Scales did really well. I thought Abada as well up front was actually okay, because with Abada, he's more instinctive, isn't he? See if he's got, if you have Abada running and he's got a lot of time to think about it, he can flatter to deceive. But see if he doesn't have a lot of time to think about something, he's very instinctive and he'll always get a positive sort of result out of him. He's always good at drifting out from wide into the middle, and that's what we saw there, just how he is through the middle. Very instinctive. He just put it away first time. It was it's an easy finish, but still at the same time he had to be there and he took up a good position for it. But first goal was very well worked, and that was all down to McGregor as well. His positional awareness to receive the ball and then play in Scales was excellent. I wish we saw more of that from McGregor. I said that I put out a tweet saying I wish in the first half we just saw McGregor more advanced, because if he's putting that type of ball through to Scales, see if he's doing that for a Abada to run onto, the game's dead in the first half, and we don't go into the second half all nervy. That was a big thing I took away, but I do agree with you fully, Hamish, on JJ. Considering, Juranovic should have known the type of balls you're putting in for wide is low, sort of fizzing ones. You're not putting in high floaty ones when you've got Abada, who's not the tallest guy in there that he's aiming for. You know what I mean? So if he's just putting ones along the deck low for Abada, that's different. But yeah, his delivery was poor. But again, that's an unfamiliar role for him as well, isn't it? I know that he is a very competent player out wide, but look at where he's starting as well. So you've got to cut him some slack, I feel. And I'm not just saying that because I'm biased, because I really like him.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of that. His final ball was very poor. Talking about cutting a bit of slack, maybe the chat could lay off my ears a little bit. Yeah, it's cold upstairs where I was watching the game. I've come downstairs. Maybe I just need to go like that for the rest of the video. I don't know. Do you want to chat about the second half, Stevie? Well, I take more pelters from our wonderful fans that I'd never criticise.
Yeah, I felt in the second half. That's what I noted was the intensity dropped. I mean, there's no surprise when Ross County scored because the intensity levels dropped off, the concentration waned, and I always felt like, McGregor, when we don't get Callum McGregor in the ball, when he's not influencing a game and he's not dragging us through a game in they type of matches, it looks like, the rest of the team don't, I wouldn't say step up, but they don't, there's no a player there who will go to McGregor going, you've got us through the last 3 or 4 games or whatever. I'll be the one here. It looks as if it's always, there's a lot of responsibility on him, and I just felt tonight he didn't have a lot of support midfield, and you saw that the more the game went on. Ross County were starting to get a grip of it, and we weren't playing the way that we're used to playing under Ange. And honestly, when they did make it 1-1, I just wasn't surprised. I think we were all chatting, weren't we, in the group, and we did see it coming, Hamish.
It was really slack from Liam Scales, actually. In the first instance, he tried a kind of, I don't even know what he was trying. He tried to hook a ball in with his weaker right foot. I think it was into either CCV or Starfelt, and it was just a terribly executed pass. County latched onto it, and Anthony Ralston, who I thought, obviously we'll come on to, I thought he had a great game, actually makes a goal-saving challenge, a really good block, takes a wee knock, and then from the resulting corner, they score. And as you say, the organisation is absolutely awful. It's just such a slack goal. I possibly even wonder if Joe Hart could maybe have been a little bit more commanding. I just think nobody in that Celtic team covered himself in any sort of glory for that goal. And when that went in, I wasn't panicking, really. I still felt that we would kick into gear, because I think, about 55 minutes on the clock. I still felt we'd click back into gear, we'd get another goal, maybe a third goal, and the County goal would kind of waken us up. As it went on, it became apparent that, in my opinion anyway, that we didn't have the players on the pitch that were going to win that game. You're looking to players like Moffat, who actually did okay when he came on, but he's a young guy. He's not really going to take a game by the scruff of the neck and get you the 3 points. As you say, McGregor I thought was okay, but quite quiet. Beaton, who actually grew in the game, but he's not got that quality in the final third of a Rogic. Abada I thought was quite quiet in the second half. Juranovic was quite quiet as well, as we said earlier. I was looking around the team and I didn't see a Jota or a Kyogo, mainly because they're injured, but players who could come and take the game by the scruff of the neck and give us that bit of magic. And I get that part of that is down to injuries, but I was really concerned at that stage, and I'm even more concerned that we were going to do something daft that would really put us in a even worse situation. And eventually, it happened. I think Carol Starfelt, I think it's, first of all, to get it out there, I think it's a harsh red card overall. I think both of the bookings are quite soft. The second one you could probably argue is a booking, and I don't know if refs take this into account, but I feel like when you've booked him for the first one for basically talking back or shouting at the ref, I feel it's quite harsh to book him for such a soft second one as well. But I don't know if refs take that kind of thing into account. But what I will say is that I think Starfelt did lose his head a bit, and I think a few Celtic players lost their head at that stage, because County were putting balls up to the big striker they put on, Jordan White, and he was giving Starfelt a really awkward time. And I felt that overall Celtic we didn't lose the plot, but we lost control of the game at that stage, and Ange always, chats about that.
I felt with Starfelt it was possibly just a wee bit of lack of maturity, I would say, with Starfelt. Maybe he's not been in that type of position with us in some time, where it was backs to the wall and just, no messing, because we've had it pretty comfortable. As much as we have, scraped through some games, a lot of teams haven't created big chances against us, and that's because CCV and Starfelt have been fantastic together. And again, they deserve a lot of credit for that, but tonight they didn't get it all their own way, conceded a daft goal. And I think when they did concede that questionable goal, that's when I think maybe Starfelt started getting flashbacks to, you saw against AZ Alkmaar, Rangers, the goals we conceded then, and he was getting criticised for it, and it's maybe a wee bit of a regression. So I'll take that into account, but I do think the sending off was ridiculous. To me, it just seemed like Alan Muir, who I was before the game. I was delighted that he was the ref, of course. Wonderful guy. We'll never criticise him. And I just felt it was just came across as that. Like, he was just an insecure man on a power trip, Hamish, where the first one, I'm just struggling because what Starfelt shouts back at him and he gets booked, right, okay.
He's got blood all over his face.
Exactly, and Starfelt's not... I've never seen Starfelt sort of get down over nothing for when he's playing with us. He's a commanding big guy, you know what I mean? He's like that. And he doesn't go down like that unless there's something up. And then when you saw the replay, it was. I mean, he get elbowed right in the face. And then the second one was just like malicious, I thought, just with Alan Muir, where he just had it in his head. It was just a wee bit of personal revenge going, oh, well, was that what you thought of me? There you go. And that's just the way I took it anyway, because I wouldn't put it past the refs in this country, Hamish. So it was a joke of a decision, and thankfully we managed to get by despite that. But yeah, I mean, it could have cost us. I think Starfelt, in a way, is obviously to blame for it, but I'll still, you know, he's been great for us in the last few games, and I think it was more to do with the fact that the ref just came across as a childish wee guy.
And you would know about them?
Well, no comment.
Do you think we played... Well, I think we played better when we went down to 10 men. It almost was what I hoped the county goal was going to be, and that it almost told this Celtic team, you know, we need to be right at it, right? No more slack passes now, we need to be right at it. And I thought with 10 men we were sensational for however long it was, 10 minutes. The amount of chances we created, the amount of, you know, times we had the ball at the edge of the box, the amount of free kicks we got. We have I think a header tipped over by the goalkeeper, a long shot tipped over. Juranovic has that free kick that the keeper saves to, you know, down to his left. And then as we're approaching stoppage time, you have these games where you do these reactions and you say, oh, I always felt confident we'd get that last chance. I thought at 92, 93 minutes, I think CCV took one of the county players down and gave away a daft free kick, and I just thought that's kind of it. We're actually more likely to lose this game by doing something daft, because we were just committing players forward, and we get that winning goal, and it's I don't even know who crosses it in. I don't
Rogic,
even know.
Was it not? I think it was Rogic.
Might have been Rogic. It could have been.
But I've not seen the replay of it, to be honest, so when the goal went in, I just went mental, and next time I've turned round and it's full time. So I do believe it was Rogic. I only saw like one wee small clip of it again before we had to go and do this. But again, there you go. Ange puts on Rogic. For all Ange is taking pelters about not making the right subs and everything, the guy that he brings on, I'm hoping it was him that served the goal. Otherwise, this channel's going to take.
It could have been John McGinley for all I care. Honestly, it was just that amazing moment, and Ralston, who I thought had a great game, nods it in. And I mean, we've touched on this already, but just euphoric celebrations. I mean, I need to rewatch the goal to see the limbs. I hope there's a sports scene tonight and see the limbs in that away end. And you know what? Those fans deserve it. I wrote about this earlier on the website, 67hailhail.com. These fans that follow Celtic away from home for a game tonight, 10 days before Christmas, a rescheduled match, let's not forget. This was meant to be in the Cup semi-final weekend. They've gone up, you know, longest trip of the season on a Wednesday night, packed out the away end, sang non-stop the whole game. Amazing backing, even at 1-1, even at the 10 men, backed the team, roared the team on, and they deserve that tonight. You know, forget all of us watching at home and all of that. We can enjoy it as well, but those 2,000-3,000 fans up there in Dingwall tonight, if any of you are watching this, you deserve everything you got tonight, because that winning goal was an amazing moment, and I honestly think it's a goal we'll look back on as being a real moment for this team. We've been winning games lately, we've been happy, we've been content given all the injury stuff, but we've been waiting on that moment when, you know, everything catches fire under Ange. I genuinely believe up until this point we've had glimpses of it, but we've not had that moment when things were conspiring against us, down to 10 men, all these injuries, County playing really well. Let's not forget Rangers winning tonight. We'd have gone 6 points behind had we not found that goal, and we found our way. We continued to play the Ange way. As Vince Rigari, who we had on the channel, said a few months ago, you'll get that game. It happens at all at Ange's clubs. When everything's conspiring against you and you keep playing the football, you might not agree with it, you might want to punt the ball into the box, but you keep your passing football and you'll get what you deserve. And we got what we deserved tonight for our effort, and I think this Celtic team will kick on from this tonight.
I hope so. I hope they enjoy it, because that was just psychologically huge. Rangers would have saw that as well. I mean, Rangers would have been seeing that.
Can you imagine? I think their game finished a few minutes early. Can you imagine them walking away from Ibrox? Oh,
their fans, their players, and because the manager, they would have had an eye on it. Because as much as on the media saying, no, we only focus on us, blah blah, they'll be watching games like that tonight, especially when they're in the dressing room, and they would have been sick at it. It's such a psychologically massive goal. And can I just say, what I did like about it when we went down to 10 men, Hamish, is see when in the last 10-15, Ross County really set up with a low block. They put every man behind the ball. We were a man down, and we still found opportunities and ways to get in behind them and create chances. When you contrast that with Livingston, when we had guys like Jota and Kyogo playing, 11, and then them down to 10, although it was only for a few minutes or something. But even at that, we really struggled against Livingston in that low block to create chances at home. So we're doing that away with 10 men in a real game that you can't drop any points, and we're creating chances like that against all odds and everything, and it was really encouraging to see. So that was a great sign. But it was just like the team stepped up. It was an unjust sending off, and the team knew how important the 3 points were, and every one of them, eventually got their act together. And when that goal went in, I think St Mirren is the best comparison, St Mirren 2010 so far, because it was like that was
into Hooper one.
Yeah, it was like a wee mini pitch invasion after that as well. It was massive. Also, it was such a dreary game, and yeah, you just felt as if wins like that are set up for such an important season, and what is going to be I think it's just going to be a title challenge going down to the last day, isn't it? At this rate, with these type of results.
When we're chatting about the pitch invasion, which by the way was just completely hilarious, can we also chat about the equally hilarious reaction of Stephen Craigan, who someone was asking earlier, is he a Ross County fan? I think he maybe supports another team beginning in R, based on the way he was going on in that second half. Actually physically groaning when Ross County missed chances, and misplaced passes and stuff like that. And then when the fans are spilling onto the pitch, which, as I say, they deserve every moment of their joy. Maybe we don't want to see them on the pitch, but hey ho, he's talking about it souring a great night for Celtic and spoiling an amazing goal. Ask anyone in this chat at the moment, did that pitch invasion or fans on the pitch spoil that goal? Because for me, they added to it. And Stephen Craigan's salty tears just brought the night from a 10 out of 10 to an 11. It
was unreal. Actually, I don't think you see me complaining about a lot of other people in Scottish football, Hamish, do you? And don't answer that seriously, actually. But, I actually did say it, listening to the game with Stephen Craigan, that if Ross County were to score again, that he would have been running on the pitch saying he actually had the final touch, because he was desperate for them to score again. And I've always said, tonight, I've never understood a lot of people obviously moaning at Stephen Craigan, and I've always found him annoying and everything, right? But I can now fully understand why people have a real hatred of him, because he was just bitter and hateful of us tonight, and I had no idea how much he had it in for us. So when the Ralston's goal went in and you saw the scenes after it, it makes stuff like that even better, because he would have been sick, and no luck.
I just loved the whole experience. I just burst out laughing when I saw that. Amazing. I'm going to rattle through some comments if I'm able to do that. Stevie, you'll be delighted to know this. We got a comment in from the legend that is Plixiplox earlier. I'm going to try and find it now. I can't actually find it now. I've given it the big build up and I can't find it, but I'm sure he or she was saying something amazing as well. That's a bit disappointing. It was so long ago that I can't even scroll back far enough. But yeah, imagine how Celtic are feeling now going into the cup final. Is that not the biggest shot in the arm you're ever going to get from a team? We were poor tonight and we won. And
hopefully as well, we've got a fit striker. Hopefully Kyogo will make it as well, and that will just boost the entire team. It will boost the fans, and everybody will be on a high after that as well, especially Hamish at a time when the mood in the country is not exactly great, and it just goes to show, doesn't it, that I don't want to get all soppy here and all that, but again, football is more than just what happens on a pitch. It's stuff like that all coming together and making you feel better, and keep putting you on a slight high before whatever doom tomorrow brings and everything. It's great, and it's the best I have felt in a long time there when that goal went in. Certainly today anyway, after the news and everything about a wonderful government and all the sanctions.
Moving on, I found Plexiplux's comment. So, team last season would never pull that off potential season-saving result. I think it's a potential season-saving result, certainly in the league, and also a season-making result. I just think it could prove to be huge. And this one as well, coming in again, thanks for the donation to the channel. It's really appreciated. Rogic and Ange Postecoglou, Australia coming in clutch. Great connection building here between Scotland and Oz. Delighted to hear it, and you might want to keep an eye on a video we've got coming ahead of the cup final as well. Let's leave it there, Stevie. Just an incredible evening. Delighted with that. We go on now, and we move on to Sunday.
We do, and good luck to the team. Good luck to Ange. It's buzzing to see the manager and this team lift a bit of silverware and then build on it. I think that's what we're all hoping for, isn't it? We said it after the St Johnstone game. You could picture it at Hampden, just how happy you're going to be for the manager and that team. And nights like tonight, man, you just, it's all going to go towards it. They're all coming together. And the reaction from them after a goal like that, I mean, the reaction from them if they win the first trophy together is going to be brilliant to see. Hopefully we can do it.
And the good news keeps coming because GigPod out tonight.
Is that good news?
Well, you can be the judge of that.
Well, it's myself and Rizzo. Yep, we're on GigPod right after this. Rizzo is deciding to stay up for an extra hour. He's usually sleeping by now, but not. He's staying up just to record for me. What a great guy.
Excellent, and people can find that and just search GigPod in their social media.
Yeah, if you really are desperate and you've got nothing good to listen to, you can search at GigPod and you'll find our lackluster podcast there.
Excellent. Well, thanks, Stevie, for joining me on this emotionally charged evening where Celtic have picked up a crucial 3 points away to Ross County. Thanks everyone who has joined us. We've had over 1,500 of you on live, which, again, to repeat myself, is a record. So thanks everyone. If you're someone new who's just come across us, please drop us a sub, give us a sub. It would be massively appreciated. We do Celtic content every single day on the YouTube. We also have a website that is absolutely huge. I mean, imagine the YouTube channel and then times it by about 20. That's how big the website is. Thanks everyone. We're back tomorrow.